everybody, it's Julie and I am so excited to invite you into my home and for you to see what I did for fall for the living room. I went a little bit out of the tradition and I went with like a turquoise and cream colored atmosphere and I love it. So I made a whole bunch of new things to add to my living room and I hope you enjoy. We're going to show them all here.
So let's get started. I have a wreath here that I picked up on clearance at Dollar General, some flowers from Dollar Tree. These flowers are from Dollar General. They were $3 for each bush. And then I picked this up at Michael's. I think it was $5 after half price. And this is from Walmart. Those are $2.48, I believe, and those were $1 a stem from Dollar General in the spring. So first thing I'm going to do is take off all of the yellow and the white flowers that were on this wreath. They were just kind of glued in there. I'm going to replace them with this greenery that I picked up at Walmart. Then I'm going to add in my sunflowers after I have cut them. And just putting them all in. There's 5 of them, so I've got them evenly spaced on the wreath. So now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to cut these succulent type bushes. They have like a sparkly texture to them. I just really like the color for what I'm going for the fall in my living room. So I'm going to continue to cut apart the pieces of these stems that I had picked up at Dollar General, and I'm going to continue to add them to the wreath kind of in the same spot for each flower. I am planning to add pumpkins to this, so I know that I want to leave some space, but I really am liking the light and airy feel of this wreath so far. You'll see that I'm pushing the stems up closer to the top of each of these pieces as I am putting them in. This gives them a thicker look, and yeah, I don't use things the way they come most of the time. I usually move things around. And so here you go, we're continuing to add them. So I'm giving the wreath a little fluff and continuing to add some of the little pieces. And so just adding them along with the other flowers that we already have in the wreath. And now we're ready for the pumpkins. I picked up these little pumpkins at the Dollar General. I love the blue. I had done the blue truck in other DIYs you're going to see here on this channel. And so I'm just going to go ahead and lay them out, get an idea of how I like them. And so I'm going to move them around a couple times. And I really, really like the way these look. It is like a puzzle, but after I got them where I like them, I'm going to go ahead and add some of these little sunflowers that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I wish I'd picked up more, but this actually ends up being such a great touch for this wreath, and then I was able to bring in yellow accents as well in my decorating in the living room. And I'm showing you the little bag the pumpkins came in. That will show up in a future DIY. Okay, now we're going to add the little yellow flowers. We'll go around and put one with each of the white sunflowers in between them, and I just love the way that this coloring worked out. I love how bright and cheerful this is. This is my transition into fall. I can add my orange to all of this, but I wasn't quite ready for the orange. And now I love it without it. So this is my decoration palette for my living room, and the orange will be added to the kitchen and the dining room and the grand room. So it's all good. Here comes, oh my gosh, I love this bush. I looked for 20 minutes in Michael's to see if I could find more of these, and I love it. You will see this in a couple of the DIYs. I go through and I pull it apart, getting the best pieces out for this wreath, and just absolutely love the way just that little bit of touch, it just added so much to this. So you see, I'm just pulling the pieces out, and I'm saving the pieces that have the pumpkins on them, and I'll use them in a separate DIY. I have been able to enjoy these this wreath and the rest of the items that I made to go with it for a month and a half. I finally got a chance to do the voiceover here, but we are really enjoying this. Love it. So I've got everything where I like it. I'm going to go ahead and glue in the pumpkins. So I'm adding glue to the pumpkins with my hot glue gun and just putting them in and holding them where I want them. I love the way this is turning out. What do you think? Do you like the blue pumpkins? And so apparently something wasn't right, so we're going to fix it right here. And we'll just glue them where they go. Catastrophe averted. And there we have it. The beautiful summer to fall sunflower wreath. I love it. Love it. So if you love it too, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And now we're going to decorate the hook that is hanging it up over the mirror. You can see the white and it kind of stands out. So we're going to go ahead and take some of this burlap ribbon and we are going to carefully cover that because it is metal and hot glue with metal can be dangerous. That's okay, I'll bring in reinforcements. I'm going to use the pencil to hold down the hot glue and to fold that over, and the other side I left wide because it actually looks really nice hanging with the burlap over the mirror. And we're ready for DIY number 2. For this one, we're going to be using these sachets from the Dollar General. Each package came with 2, and I bought 2 different packages. So I also did pick up these Tabasco, I always say that, tobacco baskets at Walmart. I have this little piece of white burlap trim, and I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I'm just kind of going through the little branding area there on the sachet, and I'm going to bring it around the back so that it looks nice and just glue that down with my glue gun. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same thing with the second one, just attaching it in the back with the glue gun and across the front. Next, I'm going to bring in some raffia. I'm going to make a bow out of the raffia. And what I like to do is I like to wrap the raffia around my fingers or around something, and then I'm going to tie it with one of these wire picks. I have hundreds of these from when I used to have my flower shop. I tried to just twist the pick off, but that didn't work, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the pick off. Then I'm going to fluff the raffia, because one of the most important things ever when you're working with any kind of bow is the fluffing. So we're going to fluff it. We might even go ahead and separate some pieces and give us some more pieces. If there's some thicker pieces in the raffia, we can just tear them apart and make them smaller. So we're going to go ahead, attach some glue and put that down. After I'm sure it's going to stay, I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those little white sunflower thingies. I'm going to cut the plastic piece off of the back and add glue to it, and by cutting that plastic piece off, the flower will sit more flush against the sachet, and I love the way this looks. For the next part of this DIY, we're going to go ahead and take out the corn husks. So I have got some corn husks. I've cut it down and I'm kind of splitting the pieces into littler pieces. And I'm going to go ahead and take one of the larger pieces and I am going to glue that down, and that will give a background for this corn husk. Pretend I'm doing like a haystack out of corn husk pieces. So we're going to go ahead, cut out the little pieces, and we'll be gluing those down. So I didn't want to use up more of my raffia, and I had this corn husk. I got it in the tamale section of the grocery store. Corn husks in the tamale section. And we have that one. Let's check the size in the tobacco basket. I love it. We're going to go ahead and take this bush from Michael's and add a couple of the little pumpkins, maybe one of them, and some of the leaves. So we'll go ahead and add a puddle of glue, and then we'll add our pumpkin and our leaves right into that puddle. So now we're going to take a look at these green leaves, and sometimes I like to add the green leaves just to help frame and to make other things stand out. So we're going ahead and adding these green leaves into our arrangement. And there we have our finished basket. We're going to go on and we are going to do the same thing and make our second basket, starting with the raffia. And we'll add that last little bit there, put it into the tobacco basket, and there we have our two little sachets. And I love this because I can just go ahead and make something else and put it in those baskets and change it out for the seasons. And oh my gosh, they smell amazing. So do check out your Dollar General for those sachets. I also added the little welcome fall sign from Dollar Tree and the vintage typeset box turned over backwards to this wall. I love the way this turned out. And here we have DIY number 3. I have this basket that I picked up in an estate sale just before we were home, safer at home. It has some sticks from my yard. The scarf was my mom's. And I like to hang a scarf off of that basket. So I'm just looking at the bush, what we have left of the bush from Michael's. I'm going to go ahead and break it into those pieces. And we will go ahead and start with the ones that have the little dilly bobbers. I don't know what they are. They're like pods. Those little pods on them. Okay, that one does have a pumpkin, and you'll see that they're a couple different heights. So I'm, rather than cutting them, so that I can use them maybe possibly at another time in a vase or something, I'm just folding them over and putting them in. So I also have one of these little picks with the blue pumpkin from Dollar General, and I'm going to go ahead and add that in here as well. And then we have just a few of these little white sunflowers left. We're going to add those in. I love how light and airy this looks. It looks like we just kind of picked it out of the field, and that's why that's how I wanted it, and I love the way this looks. So I thought I was finished, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have these green pieces. And so I added those ferns in there, and I absolutely love the way they look. So they are a plastic maidenhair fern, and I've had that forever. I hang it on my coat rack and with the little pillow above it. And now we are on to DIY number 4. I have taken the bottom of a basket, and I am going to put this little truck decal into the bottom of this basket. This is a page out of a coffee table cookbook, and I loved it because of that wood. It was like a fence or something. And so I have gone ahead, and you saw it disappear. It went to the sewing room, and I actually sewed the truck onto the paper, and now I am going to hot glue it onto this basket, because around here everything is usable, right? So there, I have used that. So the truck decal, I had gotten that at Dollar General. So here's another way that I make a raffia bow. This is for a larger one. I'm just going back and forth at different lengths, and then I'm going to grab one of those picks and tie it off again, and I have a large bow. I'm going to add this one down at the bottom, and then we're going to add some flowers like we did before. I wanted to add a little more of the raffia, so I made another little bow, and I'm gluing it right there in between the two flowers. So I could just hang it by sticking it in one of the holes of the basket, but I decided I wanted to make a hanger out of it. So I'm going ahead, and I've taken one of my pieces of raffia, and I've done a little, is that a slip knot? I've gone through, and now I'm going to do the same thing, going through from the front to the back, pulling the little loop forward and putting the raffia through the loop. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie the top piece first into a double knot, and then I'm going to add a bow. And that is how I'm going to hang this. And I absolutely love the way this turned out. And we have another one. For this one, I have this flag from Dollar General, this gunny sack from Tractor Supply, and I have put a pillow inside the gunny sack. So we're going to go ahead and attach this flag onto the front of our gunny sack. I'm going to use hot glue and go all the way around the outside of the flag, attaching it to the gunny sack. Next, I'm going to take the strings that came with the gunny sack, and loosely tie them around the top of the gunny sack. Then I'm going to fluff the top of the gunny sack and make sure that I like the bow. And then we're going to add one of the leaves that I had and a couple of the flowers. And of course, we'll add the raffia bow that we've been making for all of the other projects. It's really fun to make your own things and be able to have them all match. So that is what we're doing, adding the raffia bow onto the top of this feed sack. And there it is, all finished. I did add this Friends Gather Here little stake, and I love the way this looks in my entry. So along with the basket, the little owl, and I did add that home sign, brought it out from the kitchen, and there's our little truck.
So next you're going to get to see a little bit of how I put together the arrangement around my TV. I want to thank you for being here. If you like handmade, homemade, upgrade items for your home, this is the place to be. I love to use the things that I have, add in some other things from the thrift store, the dollar store, and people give me stuff to make my home inviting and fun. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification so it'll tell you when I upload a video, because right now I don't have a schedule, but I have several coming. And thank you again for being here. So let's get on to the next project.
Next, I'm going to show you some of the other items that I added to my display. I had these little birdhouses I picked up on clearance. I paid half price at Family Dollar. The pumpkins with the sunflowers, those came from Dollar General, as did the little picks. This little pumpkin came from Hobby Lobby. It was in a package of pumpkins. The fox and the owl both came from Dollar General, and as did the little green pumpkin, the ceramic pumpkin, Dollar Tree, and this squirrel. I loved it. It came from Michael's and I paid full price. Next is the little pillow from Dollar General and the sunflowers. I got several of those from Dollar General. This pumpkin was from Hobby Lobby. This one was from Dollar General from the Halloween section. I got a couple of these cute little signs and the little pumpkins, and the candles I already had. The burlap pumpkins came from Dollar Tree, and I got this adorable truck in the springtime at Dollar General. Family sign came from Dollar Tree, and this is me putting it up slowly but surely. No, quickly. Hopefully you don't get dizzy. I'm adding the pumpkins and the little houses. There's the truck and another white pumpkin that I did pick up. Okay, we've added the family sign, and now we've added the picks and the little sunflower pumpkins, and the burlap pumpkins went into the trucks. And next we're going to add in some more picks, and there's our beautiful wreath, and putting pumpkins on the candlesticks. There's the owl peeking out, and there's the Halloween pumpkin turned around, and one more look here. Everything's all set up. We added some flowers, And there you go. That is, I call it my mantle. Yes, it is behind the TV. One more thing I did, I had picked up that decal and I added it to my doll and teacup cabinet. I love the way it looked. It just turned out so pretty. So this is everything all put together.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to know which one's your favorite. I absolutely love this basket. This up here was a lot of fun. And oh boy, the sachets smell amazing. And they look really cute. But I have to say the wreath is my favorite because when we sit on the couch and watch TV, that's what I see and I love it. So I hope you are enjoying your holidays. Be thankful, be grateful, be blessed. Mwah. Bye.